Shannon Lee wrote about the philosophy of her father, Bruce Lee, who passed away when she was only 4 years of age. Still, she learned a lot from his legacy. Bruce Lee wasn't just a famous fighter in martial arts, but he was also a philosopher. His philosophy teaches you to be like water, be shapeless, adapt to the recipient you're in. It be a bottle or cup or any other shape. Life is the recipient, and you need to adapt to it. You need to shape yourself in accordance with it. This video will be my interpretation of this philosophy. In any case, I suggest you read the description of the video for more information and to check out the sources I used to make this video. In any case, I hope you enjoy it. Be flexible, fluid, natural. Depending on the situation you find yourself in, you will need to react differently. There's no single guidebook on how to live, but there are experiences which teach you how life works. This is the philosophy of movement, and as still water is filled with disease, you cannot let your life stagnate. Stagnation will lead you to ruin, so always keep on moving. This is metaphorically, since you don't need to be a martial artist to follow Bruce's philosophy. Although, indeed, physical exercise can help you a lot to develop a healthy mind and body. Bruce Lee started practicing martial arts when he was very young, and at 13 years of age, while living in Hong Kong, he joined a martial arts school. One day, when Bruce was on a boat, he punched the water out of anger. That single punch changed his life completely. It taught him his style, his path in life. It was the start of his philosophy. A person needs to be one with nature. And just as water is, a person needs to be shapeless and limitless. To stand neutral against everything. To be a nobody to learn life's most valuable lessons. In a fight, there is the right moment to attack. If you don't pay attention to your opponent, you will miss it, and you will go down to the floor because of it. In life, it is the same. There are opportunities, and for them, there's the right time for you to make a move. But you need to pay attention, otherwise you will miss them. If you love life, then don't waste your time. Life is made out of time, and so follow the current. See where life leads you. Work toward your dreams and attack only when the time is right. This is the philosophy of Bruce Lee, and this is what we could call the Jeet Kune Do. Bruce Lee wants you to be the best version of yourself, as he was the best version of himself. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a martial artist. To be the best version of yourself, all you have to do is always try your best in whatever it is you're doing. And even by doing that, you will commit mistakes and you will fail in certain occasions. But those are just part of what it is to be a living person. As Nietzsche said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Challenges and failure make you stronger. They teach you lessons. Live the present. Be where you are and do your best at the moment you're at. Be in control of your decisions and don't act impulsively. You need to be fluid, to adapt yourself. A healthy body is a healthy mind. And so, a healthy mind is a healthy body. But it is hard to empty one's mind. Meditation can help. Everybody can meditate in their own way. Nothing is impossible. By training and focusing, anyone can learn anything that there is. You need to stay optimistic. Maybe use some symbols or make a tattoo that can help you visualize your goals, to see the best version of yourself more easily. You might discover yourself by keeping a journal or a diary, writing down everything you think and do. And by coming back to those writings later in life, you'll be able to see how much you evolved and grew. You could start exercising your body, and with better physical health, you could get a healthier mind. As still water is dirty, unclean, so is an idle body. Frustrations and challenges are the difference between people who act and people who only dream. What matters is not the objective, but the process, the path, the journey until your destination. There is no learned lessons if there is no journey, no hardships. In 1970, Bruce Lee hurt himself while training. A bad spine problem, sharp pains, and those got in the way of his many ambitions. Bruce could never fight again in his life, and that was a scary prospect. He remained with this back pain for the rest of his life. But he found his own way around it and never gave up on his dreams. All suffering comes from within us, just as its medication does so as well. In chaos there is opportunity. Independently of your religion, you need to have some faith. Many years later, in 1993, Bruce's son, Brandon Lee, died while filming The Crow. His death impacted Shannon very heavily, but thanks to Bruce's philosophy, she managed to overcome her pain and learn her own Tao. Enthusiasm is medicine of the spirit, and each person is made out of their own experiences. You cannot rely only on logic and rationality, but also spirit and feeling. For without mistakes and without hardships in life, there's no lesson. And without a lesson, there's no self-improvement. Don't procrastinate and fight head-on what life brings to you. One must be an empty cup. Let the water or tea fill you up. If you're already filled, the tea will only overflow, and thus you will have learned nothing. Empty your mind. To learn something new is to learn something completely from scratch. You might not know everything. You should be conscious of that. Absorb information and live the moment, for you should stay neutral, without expectations, and so you will have no disappointments. By abandoning biased expectations and making yourself empty, you will reach tranquility and vitality. The yin-yang is about duality and extremes. One thing doesn't exist without the other. You need to have both the good things in life and bad things in life, not only one or the other, and so you may achieve a perfect balance. Don't think about what could have been, but live what it is now. Don't be quick to judge. Try to understand first. Control your thoughts as you control your actions. Emptiness is a moving state, so relax and empty your mind. Be the eternal student. Experiment different things in the here and now, for it is everything that there is. Understand your spirit's desires and your ego's desires. Figure out what is really necessary for you to achieve fulfillment. But don't forget your own limitations. Everyone has their own limits, and they shouldn't push those limits if there is no benefit in doing so. People fear pain, but without pain, there is no progress. A problem always leads to its own solution, so follow the path to the solution. Your life and your success is your own responsibility, not others. Competitions lead to the illusion that winning is required, but it isn't. You don't need to win to become the better version of yourself. Competition and all it brings is poison to the spirit. There is no winning nor losing, only a lesson to be learned. And so, be the eternal student, be the empty cup. Water always finds its path. And just like water, you need to always find your own path, your Tao. Start with a few simple steps, simple actions, little things that take you toward your objective. And whenever necessary, adapt your objective. You can control yourself and decide your objective, but you cannot control nature, so don't even try it. Be yourself, but seek on becoming the best version of yourself. And for that, you need to set objectives in life. Change is constant. There is no single I, for you live in an ecosystem. The ecology of our existence dictates that you cannot be a single element. You need to adapt to your surroundings, the events, problems, and challenges that appear in your path. If a problem has nothing to do with you, then avoid it. If a problem is remotely related to you, avoid it if it's the right decision to make. And finally, if a problem is directly related to you, then you need to face it with the proper reaction. Match your exterior with your interior. Sincerity from the heart is one of the most valuable things in this world. Bruce Lee was always doing some exercise. He noted everything he did and planned ahead his training. And just like him, you need to set your objective in life and your justification for it. You need to fight for it. When you think about wanting to do something, do it. Don't miss the opportunity. You need confidence in your own abilities. And in case you lack motivation, you can teach yourself to be motivated. In Bruce's case, he practiced a lot of physical exercise and meditation. But you can do it your own way. What matters is that you should know that it is possible to develop motivation. And with motivation, nothing can stop a person seek for his dreams. Bruce learned and developed his entire philosophical mindset out of his martial arts practice. Everything he learned was through martial arts. One day, Warner Bros. Accepted to make a movie with Bruce Lee. The script for the movie was garbage, so Bruce rewrote it with his own philosophy in mind. This movie was Enter the Dragon. The studio ignored Bruce's script and tried to use the bad script instead, before they finally accepted his demands. For Bruce protested against them and refused to take part in the movie if they didn't accept his vision of the story. In 1973, shortly before Bruce passed away, he left many writings about his thoughts, as if he knew somehow that he was going to die. One needs to reach nirvana, find fulfillment, peace, and to free the mind. Bruce was a human being who saw beyond culture, nationality, or race. He saw the good in people. Bruce was kind and always helped others when it was possible for him to do so. Taoist ideas influenced him since he was a child, and that is something we can clearly see in his philosophy. Bruce had seen a lot of racism in his life. Since he was not fully Chinese but with some European ancestry, he was banished from his school of martial arts when still young. In Hollywood, for him not being a Westerner, he suffered the same problem. But even so, Bruce never played the victim, and instead, he fought for justice and never judged anyone where if not by who they really were inside. Don't live a life of suffering. Learn your own way through it and seek what it is your spirit desires. Don't play the victim. Be responsible for your own destiny. Bruce Lee would later pass away, in July 20th, 1973, of a cerebral edema. He was buried in Seattle, where he lived, instead of Hong Kong, where the bulk of his fans were at. Paying attention to his death over his life was the same as if you were to pay attention to a finger instead of the moon the finger is pointing at. Many years later, in 2005, a statue of Bruce Lee was raised in Mostar, a city in Bosnia. The Bosnians saw Bruce as a man who broke the barriers of ethnicity, a man with a heart and a mission in life. And although he died early, his legacy would remain here with us forever. Pay attention to the moon, not the finger. Be water, my friend.